Hey everyone, it's Carissa at Sprinkled with Glitter, and I am excited to be here today for a project for the Pretty Pink Posh watercolor blog hop. We're featuring projects that have watercolor on them, and today I'm going to create a watercolor background using my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers here. And so I'm just picking a few of the pink colors here. I used Tea Rose, Pink Flamingo, and Light Carmine. And I'm starting with a piece of Ranger watercolor cardstock. This is a really nice bright white watercolor cardstock. And I'm scribbling these different colors onto the paper, just kind of laying down a base of color. You can see that it's not perfect. Those real brushes kind of really have a lot of give to them, so you're seeing all that texture pick up in the paper. It's not getting down into the grooves, but that's fine because we're going to go in and we're going to smooth this out with some water in the end. And I haven't had a whole lot of chance to play with these markers yet, but what I have played with, I love, and I'm finding that they're really easy to blend out. So once I've got all that color laid down, kind of in an ombre fashion, I'm coming in with just some plain water and a brush, and I am just smoothing or blending that color out. And you're gonna see that these lines, all those lines that are there, they blend out really smooth and evenly. And I think that this technique is a little bit easier than a true watercolor because it gives you a little more control. So if you're a control freak like me, it might be something really good for you to create some watercolor backgrounds with. Now, if you get to the point where you want to add a little more color, you can actually take these markers and go back into that wet area and color in some more color. It's not going to absorb into the tip because these are real brush tips and not a felt tip. And once I've gone in, even though that paper is really wet, you can see I scribble off here and it does no damage to my marker at all. So keep in mind that if you get some places where you've watered it out too much, you can go back in and add some more pigment and you can really build the color up. Now I'm hitting this with my heat tool to kind of speed along the drying process. And then I'm going to set it aside to dry the rest of the way, and I'm going to do some die cutting. So I'm starting out with my magnetic platform, and I have my Sizzix Precision base plate here. Now it's a metal cutting plate that you use on the bottom of your sandwich in place of your clear cutting plate. And I'm going to use the Pretty Pink Posh Stitch Banner Duo 2 to cut this We Are Memory Keepers Clearly Bold acetate. It's a really cool polka dot acetate, and I'm going to get that really cool banner shape and stitched pattern onto this acetate. So I wanted to make this more like a tag, so I'm just using my Crop-A-Dile here to poke or punch a hole in the top of that so I can put some twine through it. And then I'm going to set that aside and do a little more die cutting. I have this Wild Garden die set. This is from the Essentials by Ellen line over at Ellen Hudson. And once again, I'm using that precision base plate to cut through this American Crafts Gold Glitter cardstock. That precision base plate, because it doesn't have a whole lot of give, cuts through this glitter cardstock just perfectly. And these are pretty intricate dies. You can see that they just pop right out, and I get a really nice clean cut. Now I cut the whole shebang of that Wild Garden die set there because I haven't had them broken apart, but I'll just store those extra ones for later use, and they're already pre-cut and I have them for another card. To add some dimension to my card, I'm going to go ahead and cut this Wild Garden die set again. That big flower is the one I'm going to be using, and I cut it out of some craft foam or some fun foam. And I'm also using this Enjoy Sentiment. This is from the zipper panel die set from the Essentials by Ellen line as well. And you can see I had lost my clear cutting plate to put on the top, so I was looking for it there. But this gives me a really awesome, super fine detailed die cut sentiment here to place on my card. So now before I start assembling this, I'm going to add a little bit of twine to the top of my tag here, and I will set that aside, and I'm going to add some tape runner adhesive to the back of this big bold flower, and I added it onto my clear acetate tag there. And I wanted to add some lift to this acetate, but since the acetate is see-through, I had to make sure I did it really carefully, and that's why I use the fun foam. So I'm just attaching that fun foam piece with a little glossy accents to the back of that and kind of creating a sandwich where that acetate sits in the middle, and that will add some lift to that acetate piece. Now I'm going to take this Enjoy die cut here and I'm going to add it onto my tag as well. And I'm using a little piece of Post-it tape to kind of create a handle for it. And I just added a little bit of tape runner adhesive to the back of that and then positioned it onto that tag and then lifted it off. Now the Post-it tape wanted to stick a little bit there, but in the end it worked out great. Now these little pieces here, it's just like a little flare piece and a leaf piece. I'm going to tuck behind that tag, and I'm just using some more tape runner adhesive to put those on there. And to finish off my sentiment, I am going to spell out your day using my Dymo embossing label maker. And then I just trimmed the ends of that into a fishtail or banner cut to kind of add a little interest. I peeled off the backer on that and then just added some foam tape to add some lift to that as well. And I added a little piece of foam tape behind this as well to add a little more lift to that acetate in the corner. Now before I start adhering this down, I'm going to layer it up. I am going to round the bottom right hand corner using my We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper, and that was the 3/8 inch size. And then I'm going to add this onto a piece of black cardstock using some foam adhesive. And I like this foam adhesive because I can rip it really easily. For my card base, I'm using a little Nina Solar White 110-pound cardstock, and I scored it at 5.5 to create a top folding A2 card. And then that card front, I'll just stick onto the front of my card using some tape runner adhesive. Now, I thought it would be really fun to add a layer of glossy accents over this really beautiful enjoy sentiment to add some more shine and dimension to that. And I'm finishing the card off by adding some charcoal and onyx sequins from Pretty Pink Posh, and I'm just placing those on using some multi-matte medium from Ranger. So that completes my project for today, featuring some products from Pretty Pink Posh as well as some watercolor techniques using the Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. Be sure to head on over to my blog where I'll have a complete list of the blog hop stops along the way, and be sure to check out the Pretty Pink Posh blog as well. Also over at my blog, you can see more still shots of this product and get links to all the products used in this project, and I'll have those linked in the description at YouTube as well. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a fabulous day.